Welcome to another Flick and the Bozman show. And Boz, it is episode 50. Can you believe it? Can you believe we've made it to episode 50?
I cannot. It's defying the odds. The expert said it couldn't be done, and
We
yet
didn't
here
we
we
didn't
are.
get fired, we didn't get canceled. None of that happened.
I'm actually not sure what experts I'm referring to, but
Oh,
nevertheless,
I'm actually not sure who could fire us, but
well, it's probably interrelated.
yes, absolutely. How are things going?
Things could not be better. I just
Uh,
wish once they would be better.
well, the Mets have some new players.
They do. We also don't know if we're going to have a season, which seems about par for the course.
Well, then we can just say theoretically we were the best team,
Yes.
or things like that. Uh,
The best duo pitching staff ever. Do you trump that over the Braves, say, of Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz?
yeah, I was trying to think what were the best. I'd say for the question you asked for the twosome, it would be right up there. Not the best staff, but
Yeah.
for two guys, yeah, I guess it would be right up there.
The Orioles had that team in the
Yeah, I would.
59, 70, 71 with Palmer, Cuellar, and McNally, and I'm forgetting the other guy. Yeah.
Uh,
Nevertheless, it was a good
something
team.
was it an MC name or I'm thinking of the wrong.
I was thinking of McNally. That was the one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought there was another. What
I'll
was
pull
I
it up.
thinking of? McGregor or something? I don't know. I make up my own names. Well, you had another fine week of Beat the Boz, getting beaten by only a couple people, but one of the people that beat you was the defending champ, Tim. So he has made his picks already. He was going to get a tree or some other task tonight, so couldn't be on the show, but he has made his selections, and he says you're going down yet again.
Uh, well, he is obviously sadly mistaken.
Sadly mistaken. So you're the trivia writer tonight, so you get to decide: are we doing trivia first, or are you making your picks first?
No, we always do trivia last.
No,
It's tradition.
tradition.
It's
We,
tradition.
well, we'll stick with tradition. And what are your overall thoughts of the NFL and maybe even the game last night if you watched it?
Uh, I only saw a little bit of the game last night. Overall, it's been just a weird season, right? You had a lot of teams that have no business losing games that they've lost. It was a couple weeks ago when the Titans and the Packers and the Rams like all lost to really bad teams in the same week, and you just go, how does that happen? The Chiefs started out so poorly, and now they look like perhaps the team to beat in the NFL right now, but they're still not even the best team in the conference by record.
No,
Um,
like when you did your who could win the Super Bowl, I said, if someone was making me think who might win the Super Bowl, the Rams got to be near the top of the list. Now, I
yeah,
don't know. Are the
they
Rams in
lost
the
three
top
in a row.
10? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They got a must-win game this week against a really bad team, but the Jaguars surprised the Bills a couple weeks ago. Bills still have, I think, the second best point differential in the NFL, and they lose to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
What was it, 9-6? I think was the score too. Like, what the hell?
9-6, yes. Yeah.
So it's been a weird season.
And you watch the Bills this week, and somehow, who do they play? The Patriots. They'll look
Yeah,
great, and you'll think, "Oh, they're the team for sure." And yeah, I don't try to predict, but I also couldn't predict, so we'll leave it.
yeah.
We'll leave it there. But you have to predict, and you have a fine matchup for your first game today, as it's a team that wears green and white against a team that wears green and white, and that would be the Eagles visiting the Jets. At least they know their way around the stadium now.
Yes, back-to-back weeks for the Eagles in the Meadowlands, which I was just referring to last night as only the Jets and Giants could put, what is it, $2 billion and get a very ordinary looking stadium these days.
Yeah,
Nevertheless,
you're not wrong.
Uh,
How much did the Islanders put into theirs? Apparently,
oof.
it's a fine stadium, but you like can't figure out how to park. I'm whatever,
Yeah.
and
Well,
they haven't won there yet,
oh, really?
which is always good in a new
That's what you want.
stadium.
That's what you want with a brand new stadium. Exactly.
Yeah,
Uh, so, it's interesting. Before the season, I saw an article that suggested that Hurst, his rookie season, compared fairly well with Lamar Jackson's. And of course, if you mentioned that to an Eagles fan, they would have been like, "Yeah, sign me up for that." And here he is, 2/3 of the way through his sophomore year, if you will, and he is 12 yards behind Lamar for most rushing yards by a quarterback this year. Not bad. And the Eagles are in the playoff race. I think they're a half a game or maybe on the tiebreaker with the Washington team of football. Um,
I don't understand the performance last week though, by
no,
Hurts or by the team or
well, I think he wasn't healthy. He wasn't 100%. So they're a half a game back. They're 5-7. Washington currently holds the seventh spot at 5-6. Uh, but Washington is technically wins the tiebreaker over the Vikings and the Falcons. So there's your top, your 7, 8, 9, 10 in the NFC right
those
there.
teams are awful.
They're all are awful, and then the Eagles are tied, but have the tiebreaker over Carolina and the Saints.
I
Uh,
would I would say of those teams, the ones you mentioned, the if you mention Minnesota, they probably have the most talent, but they find ways to lose. Of those teams, if I was one of the other teams in the NFC, really none would scare me. But at
yeah,
least Washington tends to play some competent football every week.
yeah, or at least every now and again. Here's the crazy thing: the Giants and the Bears at 4-7 are one game out of a playoff spot.
Wow, wow, and
Or they could end up with the third pick in the NFL in the
yeah,
draft next week,
yeah.
next year. like,
Well, you've stalled enough. You got to give me an Eagle jet pick, or if you were
so
trying to give me a reason, you can keep going.
I was referring to. I mean, I think Hertz is coming into his own. He may not be 100%. Um, I was trying to write a clever, headline and referring to an old headline that no one will remember except for my father, who probably won't be listening to this. And it goes back to the 27 Yankees, whose ace was a guy named Wade Hoyt, and who was from Brooklyn, and he had a
You,
terrible Brooklyn accent. And so
you're
the
talking to
headline,
1927.
yes, the headline was "Hurt got Hoyt," and so I was thinking the same thing. Hurst got Hoyt, which is an awful long way to go for a really bad punchline. Nevertheless, I don't think it matters that much. I think that Eagles are a better team than the Jets, and I think if Hurst is at all healthy, and he doesn't have to be 100%, I think they can beat the Jets and inch closer to a potential playoff spot.
Well, you already have one different pick than the champ,
Okay,
who has for some reason selected the Jets. I think it
okay.
was a typo, but it was all four letters. So what can I do? Got to go with what he sent me. All right, then we'll go to game two, and that is the Chargers at the Bengals.
Chargers at the Bengals. That is one of those classic matchups. It's Dan Fouts and Kenny
Yeah,
Anderson.
I was gonna say it feels like an '80s playoff game.
uh, I said to you last week before the Chargers Broncos game, which I got wrong. I have not picked the Chargers right yet this year.
Why do you think they keep appearing?
I appreciate that.
No problem.
I'm going to continue to pick against them, and I'm going to give you this stat. Joe Mixon has 2 touchdowns or more in 4 straight games. The last running back to have 5 straight games of 2+ touchdowns, rushing touchdowns in the same season was LaDainian Tomlinson,
Oh, I was gonna go with TD.
which is he had 8, by the way,
So,
8 such games. I think they didn't have like 30 that year. He had
yeah,
30
he may have.
touchdowns. He was unconscious.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, pretty good player, LD. Uh,
as long as he wasn't with the Jets, he was a good player.
yeah, he had his moments with the Jets, but yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So I like Mixon. I mean, I like Burrow. I think the Bengals have a chance to to right the ship. It was only a few weeks ago that they were in first place and going into the Meadowlands and laid the egg against the Jets. Um, but and then they proceeded. They went from being ostensibly the one seed in the AFC to being last place in their own division in 2 weeks. I think they've righted the ship, and I see them, finishing the season strong and fighting potentially for. I think they can win the division and maybe even have a chance at catching the Patriots or the Chiefs for the number one seed.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's a
So I'm going
that's
with
a
Cincy.
that's a bold statement. You heard here first.
You heard it here first. You
Ah.
may never hear it ever again. There you go.
Especially if they don't right the ship, which I think you threw in there 2 or 3 times. But anyway, I'll write that down as a Bengal selection for you.
The Clippers obviously is a good game to right the ship against.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
The Chargers, but yes, I get where you're coming from. All right. Speaking of ships, you may want to try to invade one as you raid them. Raid the ship.
raid the ship.
Yeah, Washington at the Raiders.
Washington at the Raiders. So we just talked about Washington holding the 7th seed in the NFC. I think I also said to you this afternoon that if you could trade divisions, uh, the Browns, who are currently the 12th seed, and the Steelers, who are currently the 11th, ranked 11th, I guess, in the AFC, would both beat the Washington team of footballers
Yeah,
as the 7th
if
seed.
you traded,
If
if you
it
traded conferences, or yeah, what you're
conferences, yeah,
saying, just
right,
move them to the NFC East somehow.
right. So you've got the Colts at 6-6, the Steelers at 5-5-1, and the Browns at 6-6. None of whom are even sniffing a playoff spot from how many teams they have to jump over, uh, and yet they would all be better than the Washington team of footballers. So on the Raiders, they've had such a tumultuous season, first with Gruden and then with Ruggs. And they lost a couple in a row, and then they came back and they played really well, I guess, on Thanksgiving night, or afternoon, I guess. And so I'm going to sort of take the emotion of the season out of it and just say, who's the better football team here? And I think it is the Raiders. I think the Washington team of football is they've got a decent coach, and interestingly, Jack Del Rio, the former Raiders coach, who was let go in favor of Gruden. Here's the stupid stat of the day for this game. Del Rio's winning percentage as a Raiders coach was the best since Tom Flores resigned in 1988,
Ah, I remember
and
that.
they fired him to get Gruden. And how'd that work out?
Well, it didn't work out. Yes.
It was a dumb move to begin with, because I've never liked Gruden as a coach.
You have never been a Gruden supporter. Yes,
That is fair.
that is fair to say.
I will also give you this less stupid stat. The Raiders are 6-0 when Derek Carr throws for 300 yards.
You sure it's Derek though?
No, one of the Carr brothers.
One of the cars. All
I
right.
just wrote down D Carr on my notes.
I know. I'm pretty
Suddenly
sure.
that fell short.
I'm pretty sure both you and I will fall for that every week because we
Yep.
don't. We
Well,
just don't know.
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they're the better team. That will Jack Del Rio want revenge against the Raiders? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah,
It's years later, isn't it?
it is. But this is probably the first time he's coaching against them.
I mean, the Atlanta coach, who's now a D coordinator. I mean, that didn't. He wanted revenge against the Tom Brady, or these revenge things. I hope for the most part they're forgotten a few weeks or years later. But your point that the Raiders may just be a better team and that the AFC may be a little better than the NFC, or at least deeper. I think that made more sense.
Was that my point?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm making it for you.
Okay, it seems like a good point if that was it.
That's what I got out of it, but
Okay.
who knows? I I often got C's and D's on written assignments. Oh, what I got out of that book? No, no,
You know,
you're
back
wrong.
in back in my day in Shelbyville, they used to have this bus.
Yes, but they didn't call it a bus.
They called it the Bee.
And it would
Uh,
buzz around town. All right. Uh, you've agreed with Tim on the last two, by the way.
all right. Good to know. Good to know. I can't go too far
For
wrong.
game four, we have Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
All right. I don't have I was shocked at the first stat I saw in this, which is that Lamar Jackson's only played twice against Pittsburgh. I don't know how that's possible.
Lamar Jackson has only played twice.
There
Yeah,
was this guy. I can't quote you. I can't verify that. Well, I guess I could. I just didn't.
that's
Uh,
that's a weird one.
it is weird, and he's played terribly in both of those games. Apparently, um, I don't know how relevant that is. The stat I can confirm is that Ben Roethlisberger is one TD. If he throws a TD in this game, he will tie his own record of 26 straight games with a touchdown pass, which is something.
It's
Um,
something.
Nevertheless, I'm going to pick the Ravens. But there you go.
He
Uh,
couldn't be much worse last week. I mean, Ben was awful.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and I didn't think Jackson looked that much better. It was a really ugly game they played,
Yeah, I didn't see much of that one. But
they were
everybody
able to
told
pull
me
it
about
out.
it.
But
I saw there were a lot of threes, so I'm like,
yeah,
it can't
yeah,
be.
a lot of turnovers and
Wasn't a good red zone game. Uh,
no.
you did differ with Tim there, so
Okay,
he supported his
that's good.
Steelers. And then your final game, and you mentioned one of the maybe both of the teams already. You certainly mentioned Denver, and they'll be traveling to Kansas City.
Well, I hope this is an easy one. I don't have too many easy ones. The stat I have for this one is that Kansas City has beaten the Broncos 11 straight,
Oof.
and three of the last four they've won by 20 or more points.
Ooh.
So I'm going to keep on that streak and say that they make it 12. I'm not going to say four out of the last five. I don't know about that, but I think 12 straight. Kansas City will win this one.
So your picks have been you took the Eagles to travel to New Jersey and beat the Jets. You picked the Bengals to hold their home field and beat the Chargers. You took the Raiders to defend home field against Washington. You picked Baltimore to go into Pittsburgh and get a win. And then you went with the home team, Kansas City Chiefs. And just to give you the champ, Tim, his picks were Jets, Bengals, Raiders, Pitt, and KC. So you differed
Okay.
on two games. So if you go 1-1 on those, it would be a tie. And normally with ties, we give the victory to Boz, but he is not the champ right now. So in the event of a tie, Tim will defend for a third week.
That ain't right.
That's
Oh,
deep.
that's
That's
probably right, actually.
deep in the rules. If you read, if you
Did they
want a
go
copy of
to,
those, just go to your nearest post office and ask.
wasn't
Um,
wasn't there a game, a season a few years ago where was it Buffalo? I think came to the Meadowlands in weeks 1 and 2
yeah,
with the Jets and the Giants, and they beat them both. And it was a year where both the Jets and the Giants had very few wins, and there was for a long time the Bills had the most wins in the
most
Meadowlands.
wins in the stadium. Yes.
I
Well,
think by like week 11 or 12, one of the two of the teams eclipsed them, and maybe by the end of the season they both had. But that
it's
was that was ugly.
it's going to be tough for the Eagles to have the most wins or the most losses. So but we'll see what happens on Sunday. So if you would like to play along and you think you could be the new champ and you want to be on the show, you want to be on the big episode 51, you can get your picks in to the YouTube site, or you can go to Twitter at FlickBoz, or you could email us flickboz@gmail.com. And I can't make fun of Boz's picks too much because I'm about to try trivia and I feel woefully unprepared. Ill prepared?
Whoa,
Not
whoa!
prepared?
All right. I think you got a chance at a few of these. These are
Okay.
not
All right.
super super hard.
I
Some
know
of
there
them.
was a 73-point win in the NBA last night.
Oh my goodness! I was watching some of the NFL last night, and the scroll went by, and it was like 108 to 53. I'm like, what was that?
What sport is that? Is
The
that
Washington Generals? Who's playing here?
what was that? I didn't see a score update a minute. I just I know it happened.
All right, trivia time! Trivia
Trivia
time!
time. You can
First
also
three.
play. You can also play along with these. If you submit six answers, I will grade them and send them back.
So the first three are NFL. We have two baseball and one NBA.
One potpourri. Oh, NBA. Okay, I'm ready.
Question one: Drew Brees.
We're on the NFL. Start NFL with me.
Yeah, Drew Brees has five of the top 10 single season completion percentage records. Is that clear? Did I say that
True.
clearly enough? Who is currently on pace for third in the third best season ever if he can hold on to his current rate?
That was oddly enough. I understood the question. Is it going to be hard for me to pronounce his name?
I don't know. How good at your pronunciation?
Not very good.
Okay.
Is he
Uh,
lefty?
he has a left hand. I don't know which one he
Damn it!
predominantly throws with.
I'm thinking my first instinct is not correct.
I I don't really know where you're going with this.
I was going with Tua.
Well, Tua, I can give you a strange stat about Tua since you brought it up. His last two games, he has completed 80% of his passes or more. And
That's why I was going with him.
yeah, that's
I
I
knew he
can
I knew he had one game where it was over 80%, but he's had some inaccurate games too.
I
I
will give
will
you a hint.
go with
He is currently 10th. If he finishes the season, Tua will be 10th best ever
I'm
if he
going with
stays
Joe
at his same.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Very good guess as a very highly accurate passer in college.
And easy to pronounce.
Yes, easy to pronounce. Uh, Cameron Cup. Question two. Cameron Cup has 92 catches. If he obviously can get eight more in the rest of the season, he will be the first Ram with 100 in a season since who or whom
Isaac
would
Bruce.
you prefer? Isaac Bruce. The
Hmm.
Reverend. The Reverend Bruce, right?
What's that?
Wasn't his nickname the Reverend for some reason?
Yeah, but
I,
now you said it. I want to change my answer, but I'm not going to because first instinct. Well,
First instinct.
I'm
Absolutely.
telling the people playing along out there that Torrey Holt wouldn't be a bad guess either. But I'm sticking with Isaac. I'm going Isaac Bruce.
I will say this. I always liked Torrey Holt's nickname. That was a great nickname.
Torrey Holt,
Torrey Big Game Holt.
big game.
I
Okay.
think that was a self
Well, yeah,
congratulation,
you
much
got
like
it.
much like Courteous Cliff.
Curtis Cliff. Yes, got to do it. I had that one. Why wasn't that in trivia?
Yes, of
I
course.
was all over Courteous Cliff.
So Elijah Mitchell, the rookie running back for San Francisco, has 4 games this season of 100 plus yards. The last rookie drafted in the 6th round or later with 5 such games was active in the 2020 season for the New York Football Giants. Who was that player? He is no longer active this season.
He was active, so the way you said that, I'm thinking he did not play but
No,
was
he
active.
played a good bit. He was one of their. I don't know if he was their top running back, but he was. I'll tell you, he carried the ball more than a few times. Uh,
Oh gosh, I have a name in mind, a guy that's a top 10 overaller, and it's like on the tip of my tongue, but I'm stuck with Falk is in my head and Hurst is in my head. Who am I thinking of? Oh crap, Frank Gore.
Frank Gore is your guess. That is
Yeah,
he is a top 10 guy.
I'm saying Frank Gore. That's who I was thinking of. So
Okay.
I gotta stick with him.
Okay.
There are reasons that I think it may be wrong, but that was the guy I was trying to come up with.
I will give you
Not
tell you
I
this.
was
Not
gosh, Hurst wasn't who I was thinking. I was thinking of Lynch, but I don't think he's been active. So
okay.
I'm going with Gore.
I will just confirm the numbers because you were asking sort of how much he played. He had 55 carries last year in nine
Oh wow,
games.
I don't remember Gore
So,
having that many, but okay.
so not insignificant, but not
No,
tons.
no,
Okay.
that's my guess though.
So uh, Bryce Harper won his second MVP award this season. There are three active players with at least two MVP awards. Can you name them?
Three active players with at least two.
I will tell you this: they are
Mi-
all on track for the Hall of Fame.
Mike Trout.
Okay. Yes, that's correct. I was going to say I'm not supposed to tell you you're correct or not, but that's correct.
Yeah, that wasn't the toughie.
No, that was not a tough.
And there are
You
two
asked for it.
more.
There are two more.
Ooh.
How about this? I'll give you a hint.
How
They
about Mookie Betts?
let me give you the hint
Okay.
before you guess. They are both just finishing long, lucrative contracts.
Okay. That they just finished or have.
Yeah, one of them is definitely over. The other one I don't remember.
All right. I'll go. Robinson Cano still has about 15 years on his, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
uh,
one, yeah. Let me get the other
I'll go Freeman and Betts.
Freeman and Betts. Okay. Uh,
Freeman's wasn't that lucrative, but it was still a nice contract.
yeah. So nice contract. Um,
I don't. If you out there playing at home are judging by how I feel about my answers, that's about a D minus. I feel good
okay.
about Trout, not so good about the other two.
Well, you should feel good about Trout.
Okay.
Uh, okay. In 2021, what major league player became just the third to win a batting title in the year that he was traded?
Um, who's the uh, who's the Cubs guy everybody wants to sign?
Cubs guy, everyone's Bryant.
Yeah, I'll go him.
Okay. Uh,
Given your
and
reaction, I'm not liking my guess, and given I couldn't remember his name, I don't deserve credit. I would have got his name eventually.
yeah, yeah. Okay. This last one's a little bit tough. A
Oh
little bit
boy.
tough. I have to say.
Especially with my NBA knowledge. I wanted to stay under 40 minutes for the year of watching NBA. I think I'm at about six.
All right. Let me ask it. Well, no, I'll just ask it how it's written.
Joel Embiid.
What team has the longest winning streak in NBA history to not win a championship in the year that they had their win streak?
In the year that they had the streak. Because the Suns are now on, what, 18 games or so?
18 in a row. They just beat the team that had the longest streak. Well, I don't know if they had the longest streak, but they had the best record in the NBA until that game, which is the Warriors.
Can I ask a weird question after your weird hint?
Uh, yeah, there wasn't much of a hint there. I will tell you this. Well, no, I can't tell you that.
Did they win over 30 in a row?
They did not win over 30 in a row. I will tell you a hint that probably won't help you much. They lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
get over I can't get over the feeling and
I'll give you one other hint, Phil.
yeah.
It happened in the last 15 years.
Oh wow. I didn't like that hint at all.
That gives you something.
My
It gives
next
you a lot more than losing in the first round, I think.
Yeah, my next clue was going to be how many games was that first round? I'm going to
Good
go with
decision.
your Atlanta Hawks.
The streak was 22, by the way,
That's a
22
nice
in a
streak.
row.
Nice
Uh,
streak.
and they
I was
lost.
considering guessing the Minneapolis Lakers, but
They lost in six. The Minneapolis Lakers. Nah, don't see them on the list of longest winning streak.
uh,
The LA Lakers in 71-72 holds the
yeah, I was thinking
all-time
an
record.
LA team had that happen to them, like with the in the Magic Kareem years, that they just lost a first round series that there were two or three just fluke endings, but I could be making all that up in my mind. That may have been Fletch. I may be confused, but I'm going with the Hawks. A nice Dominique team going out in the first round. Mike Fratello coaching.
You know,
I
I
know
may
a
have
lot about this team that may not exist.
I may have to take this one back, Phil.
Take
We
it.
may have to have a five question trivia time here,
You may have to
or
take
just
it
three.
back. My answer was so incompetent that
No, your answer wasn't incompetent. My research was incompetent. So the team a team with a longer winning streak. Here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen.
ladies and gentlemen, this is
Here's
unprecedented.
what happened. It is without precedent. No, it happens all the time. Uh, Phil will tell you. I often have to take my trivia questions back. Uh, uh,
Not on air.
their winning streak spanned 2 seasons,
Ah.
and they won in between, but they had the longer winning streak in the season that they lost.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well,
yeah,
that makes it the Dallas Mavericks.
that could make it the Dallas Mavericks.
I don't know why, but
So that is your trivia questions. If you want to, I'll run them down again. Breeze has
if
five
somebody has the
for the
first
season
five
record.
and doesn't have number six right, do we still award them the same prize?
Absolutely. You can get either team, and I will give you full marks for
Full
number six.
marks.
How about that?
Not Sean Marks, the net GM.
Not Sean Marks. I don't even know who that is.
That's the
Uh,
net GM. I'm not
so
even making that up.
who I thought the Mets hired Epler.
Not the Mets, the Nets.
Oh, all right.
you're, you're killing me.
Should I run them down, or they know what it is?
No, you got you give
All
shout
right.
them out one
Breeze,
more time.
Breeze
Well,
has five of the top 10. So who's currently on pace for the third best season for completion percentage? And it's
and
not
I
Drew Brees.
and I
Your guess
said
was Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. That's a
Cameron Cup has 8 more catches. 8 more will make in the first round with 100 in a season. Since your guess was the Reverend Isaac Bruce.
not loving that guess.
Elijah Mitchell has 4 straight games with 100 yards. Uh, who was the last rookie with 5 or more
Of such games.
of such games that was active for the Giants last year? Your guess was Frank the Riddler Gore. Uh, any fans of the old Adam West Batman
Oh,
show?
I was all over.
That one. Bryce Harper won a second MVP. Who are the 3 active players with at least 2 MVP awards? You said Trout, Freeman, and Betts. 2021, what player became the third to win a batting title in the year he was traded? And the first, by the way, since the legendary Harry Walker in 1947.
Shoeless Harry Walker?
What's that?
Shoeless Harry Walker?
Shoeless Harry. Your guess was Chris Bryant. And who has the longest winning streak in the NBA not to win a championship? And your guess was either the Mavericks or the Hawks. And the Hawks do, by the way, have a very long winning streak to not win a championship. So that's not a terrible guess.
Not a terrible
Don't
guess.
see the
I
Mavericks
sort
on
of
the list.
remember them having a significant one and then kind of fizzling out. So that
They-
was the kind of team I was looking for, but
yeah, yeah.
I
And
didn't
it was
have
not
one.
the Suns. I will give you that.
Didn't have one specifically. But I want to say something to you about the 50 shows we've done.
All right, sir.
And, for a lot of people, staying home a lot during the COVID days has been rough. And when I had the wacky idea of starting this up again, I thought it would be a 1 or 2 show thing. And I have just had, whether people listen or not, I've had a ton of fun doing this. And I wanted to take a moment to thank you very much for doing it with me.
I appreciate it, Phil, and thanks for bringing this crazy idea out of the mothballs. And uh, it's been a blast for me too, and hopefully the our loyal listeners have also enjoyed coming along for the ride and had some fun with us, or had some fun at our expense,
And we're
whatever
and,
works.
and we're not done. We're not done. We're just celebrating doing it 50 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple more, and we'll pass our age, and a few more after that, we'll pass our IQ.
That's, they're all too close. Yes. All right. We're going out with some sticks. You could bring me the album at a later date, but here we go. Have a good weekend, everybody.